since we're already in that zone of dating and relationship, having experienced it yourself, what would you say a narcissist is? Like, what are those traits?
The traits.
Yeah.
Okay.
That you would, yeah.
Ooh, you caught me off guard.
Oh, my bad.
Just like threw me under the bus.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in general, what traits would you say would lead to that kind of
this is my favorite topic.
Is it?
And although I feel like I didn't prepare for it,
No,
however, I'm
just
just gonna wing it, and I love it so much in the sense that I don't wanna just be too quick to just say something that's going to mislead.
Right.
Because I feel like it's a word that we also just use very
loosely,
and
true.
we misdiagnosing people and whatnot.
That's very true.
Yeah. However, some of the narcissistic traits or some of the traits I've observed or experienced, from narcissistic relationships, is that they looking for control, right? I think the main characteristic or trait, in a narcissistic person is that they are seeking to control the victim.
Okay.
Right.
So there's also I'm not sure if it's a thin line, but
right.
There's one side where you are leading as a man.
Yes.
And then it can turn into control.
There's a thin line there. Yes. Yes. Yeah. However, with a narcissistic relationship, obviously there's going to be other traits that also support.
Okay.
The control.
Yes,
control.
100.
So
100.
what do those
that
look
sets
like?
them apart now from like a normal man trying to lead and to a narcissist just trying to yes. So I feel like narcissists, I don't know how narcissists are made. I think different circumstances create narcissists.
Backgrounds, whatever the case.
Yes. But I do feel that they struggle with loving themselves. They empty, like they void of identity. They are void of purpose, and therefore they're just, I don't know. I'm trying to find the word.
Trying to find identity from the control.
From the control, So and now how they get there is that they are very they're very extra in their approach. They will buy the flowers. They will suddenly try to solve all your problems, and they will suddenly want to.
Yo, I buy flowers.
No. Like I said, there's a thin line there.
It's a thin line, eh?
Like I said, it's a lot. It's a lot in the sense that they love bomb. It's a term we use. They love bomb, right? Suddenly, they basically just try to dominate your whole world in a good way. Suddenly, they want to meet your mom. They want to meet the kids. They find the flowers
really
every day.
Into your life,
Yes. They sending. It's almost like they are robotic messages. They will bombard your phone with messages, right? At specific times. It's almost like yes, and they literally just dominate every area of your life. And it comes across as someone who's trying to solve your problems, someone who's trying to make your life better. However, they're trying to create dependence. Right? And because I said these people are empty and they hate themselves and they have nothing happening, within themselves, right? So they depend on the outward world to
the praise
to keep them going, right? They call it narcissistic supply, right? So how they create suppliers in their victims basically is by trying so hard to get the victim to depend on them. Right? And therefore, when the victim depends on them, then this person is going to turn around and be a supply and be the person that gives them some kind of purpose every day, praise. They're going to basically even take the abuse when the mask starts slipping, because then they've already trained them to be able to stay, even if they start abusing them, because they've already created dependence. So a narcissist wants you to believe that you cannot make it without them, right? Yeah, and I feel like that's how they do it. Yeah, unless if you have specific questions, in that regard.
That's interesting.
Very. It's a thin line for sure.
It's a thin line.
Yeah,
it's a thin line.
I think what's interesting is a lot of the initial. So are you saying there's
there are phases?
There are
yes.
phases.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Because I can be very honest and say
yes.
I am very expressive when I'm in a
relationship.
Romantic,
Yes, which is beautiful.
I write like long messages.
That's beautiful.
And then I buy flowers.
That's so nice.
So when you were describing that, I was just like, whoa,
no, you're not. You're not. Yes.
But what I appreciate is the the fact that there's phases.
There's phases.
Because it means
Yes.
that it's a matter of time until you sort of start to see a pattern.
Yes.
And I'm a big believer that, in a romantic relationship,
Yeah.
time is a very important
Thank
factor
you.
because
Thank you for saying
what
that.
it does is it allows you to see what's consistent and what's not.
100.
And then it allows you to see what's real and what's not.
Yes.
And the thing that people don't the thing that people don't have control over is a lot of people have control over their actions, their
Yes.
direct actions.
Yes.
But a lot of people don't have control over their reactions.
Over their reaction.
remember-
So when you
I
spend
remember you mentioned that
so when you
before,
spend time with someone, it's always in the reactions
Wow.
that you then
you
get to
see.
see what you're going to deal with in the long
Yes,
term.
it will unfold. I can tell you for free. Yes.
Yeah, because if something really triggers me and I act very
Yes.
unreasonable when
Yes.
it comes to a certain thing, you're gonna see it when that thing comes up, and then over time you sort of catch the
The
patterns.
pattern.
Yeah,
The pattern.
So
yes.
I think my first thing is going to be, my first question rather.
Yes.
That usually sounds like a man,
It sounds like a man,
but it can be a woman.
but it can be a woman.
Okay.
Yes, it can be a woman. I feel like I don't know if maybe we can even talk about how narcissists were made. I think we would
Yes,
actually
please
be
go
able
ahead.
to.
Please go ahead. This is very interesting to me.
How they were
This
made.
is very interesting to me. Yeah.
I think some narcissists were made from a lack of parenting.
Okay.
In the sense that they. Okay, gosh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm drifting a bit.
No worries. Don't worry.
So
Or even over parenting, over praise.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like as
Overpraise,
parents,
yeah.
sometimes we praise our children so much. We're trying to build their self-esteem, right? But then it does get to a point where it just becomes about them. Right? It just becomes about them, and they start to believe that everything has to revolve around them.
So
and
there's
obviously
an arrogance that comes
there's
up
an
in them
arrogance.
and
Yes, because narcissistic people are very entitled, Hence, they want to control you because they feel that they are entitled to your time, they're entitled to your energy, they're entitled to your body. You understand? That's how narcissistic people think. But they get you there by hooking you, through the love bombing phase, which will expire at some point. But I feel like if you are being a normal guy, obviously you're probably going to be consistent, and there's not going to be other issues as well that start to raise, our brows to say, that was a
what
bit
about
off.
that? What about
Yeah.
this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what? How does the controlling happen? Like what are some examples?
Right.
Just in case we've got someone who's watching and they're
Yes.
thinking, oh, okay, cool. I'm in a healthy relationship, and they're not seeing the signs. What,
They're
Or
not
even
seeing
a
the
guy who
sign.
doesn't
Or
even
even a
know
guy who-
that he's
Right.
controlling.
what are the signs of the control?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've seen emotional control, right? Where it's subtle. It's very, very subtle. For example, I'm just going to make an example, right? I once dated a narcissist, and I remember initially he would send me pictures, right, of girls from Instagram. I go
Oh.
to gym, and he would say to me, "Look, you're not doing it properly." And I would ask why, and he would show me pictures of perfect Instagram models, and he would say, "This is what you should look like. This is what you should be working towards."
Wow.
So in a way, I feel like he was controlling the way I see myself. Also, he was sort of like placing me in a position where I'm going to depend on his validation.
Right.
Because if he says this is how I should look like, therefore I need to start doubting how I look. And now he controls my narrative. And now he starts to control me.
So is it correct to assume that
Yes.
a narcissist does not praise you for what you look like? Like then there's always something they want
Yes.
you
That
to
you can be
achieve.
better.
100.
You can always
So
be
they
better.
don't really appreciate.
No,
Oh.
they don't really appreciate. They might act like they do in the beginning. Obviously, in the beginning, they're saying all the right things.
Right,
I don't know if you've seen the Nice Guy movie. There's a movie called The Nice Guy. So it's a very, very old movie. I mean,
No,
he
I
was
haven't.
saying all the right things. These guys will be doing all the right things at the right time, impressing everyone, even in your circle, your family. They I don't know. It's almost like they have a playbook that they receive from the devil.
From the devil.
Yep, I said it.
Playbook from the devil.
Yep, I said it. Because the relationships always follow a set pattern. You know, you could be dealing with 5 different narcissistic people, but it always follows the same patterns, like you were saying. Yeah, and
So that so you
Wow.
Yeah, so if they control how
Yes.
you see yourself,
yes.
it is part of control. Right?
It is part of control.
Then
Another
that-
way,
yeah.
I'm thinking of, it just hit my spirit now. Another way a narcissist can control you is that obviously these people are broken, right? Most of them, I think they become narcissists through, I guess, loss or painful experiences, maybe having to deal with it alone. And this thing becomes a poison, because I feel like pain, if it's not processed, it starts to become a poison, right? You start to become a bitter person. You start to become vengeful, or you celebrate when others also experience the pain that you yourself are experiencing. In a way, I feel like narcissist people are very dark, and they're very...
It reminds me of a lot of Tyler Perry movies.
Right.
Oh, yes. There's always an narcissist.
Right? Yes. So most of them, they lead with, I think they call them the vulnerable narcissists. Those guys, most of them will not even like be buying the flowers and doing all these amazing things, right? To sort of hook the victim, right? But this particular group of narcissistic people, basically they will even be using their stories, they sob stories, right? Woe is me, to say, this and this happened to me. And they're entitled to say, how can this happen to me? I feel sorry for myself. You understand? I lost my parents. You still have your parents. And so basically they use the sad stories. And if you're a person who has empathy, then you fall for it. You sort of like fall into this
Feel
trap
sorry for
of
them
trying
and-
to
yeah.
save them. Yeah, trying to save them. And I believe that is one quality about me that keeps attracting narcissists, into my space, because I'm very empathetic. I want to solve people's problems, right? And because of that, yeah, they easily find a way, to hook me, because I want to pray with them. I want to, I love people, and I'm passionate about mental health, and I just want to, see people get better and heal from their psychological traumas and whatnot. So I feel like I get trapped, in that space of trying to save this person, while all along I'm giving this person their power, and I'm basically getting more, attached to this person, that now it takes years for me to leave this relationship. And when they start abusing me, I always make excuses for them. But he lost his mom, you understand? I can't just walk out on him. So-and-so walked out on him. And, so that's what I mean by that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So what does the abuse element look like in that relationship? Like, does it get to being physical,
Or it's
or is
emotional.
it like manipulative? Like,
Yeah.
what are some of the examples of the abuse?
I guess it will depend on the type of narcissistic person you are dealing with.
Okay.
Like I said, they're
So
all
there's types.
Yes, there's types. There's
Hey.
types. But they all they somehow they all struggle with self-hatred. They all struggle with, I guess, a lack of identity. And they all struggle with just wanting control, you understand, over the victim. Although different narcissists have different approaches to getting there, you understand. So the control, so the abuse part. I'm going to make an example with a malignant narcissist, which I dealt with a couple of years in my life.
Okay.
Gosh, that one it gets chaotic. It's very tumultuous. I don't know what the word means, but it seems to fit the bill. It fits the bill, okay?
Yeah.
So this person, I remember how it started is that he was the extravagant type who would be buying flowers. And I remember they found me when I was still dealing with the mental health issues. So obviously they started to save me, right? And that was control. They solved all my problems. They made sure I would take a shower. They would, make sure I attend my classes. I was in uni at the time, and everyone started to celebrate, and I was grateful,
And he was getting the praise.
He was
now.
getting the praise. So the control part or the abuse part came when, for example, other men started to notice me. Because obviously he put me together. He put me on a diet. I started to go to gym. Actually, that's where I found my love for fitness. He basically...
That was the one good thing.
That was the one good thing. And I give it to him. I give it to him. Bless his soul. And now, when that starts to happen, then he would say, I made you. You are my B. You understand?
He would say that.
He would say that, and he even started to feel entitled to my body. So I would never say no to him, you know, when he makes his, sexual advances on me. I was never allowed to say no to a point where he would have his way because he made me. And I couldn't deny that. I couldn't deny that.
That's deep.
Yeah.
And how, oh my gosh, how bad was that, like, on your psychological, like on your mental health, like on your self-worth?
It completely empties it. It took years for me to actually recover. I don't know if I fully recovered.
Okay.
But I believe it's a work in progress, and I'm grateful now. I'm aware of it. And there's a community of people on YouTube that actually share their stories on narcissistic relationships.
Wow,
and
crazy.
Yeah, with regards to the other subtle narcissists, right?
Yeah.
They call them the covert narcissists. They're the ones that feel sorry for themselves. I feel like how they control you is that, for example, there will be, I don't know why I specifically made an example with covert narcissists. But anyway, the control can come in a form of how they initially send you messages at 6 every morning.
Wow.
Without fail.
A set time.
Those
every
guys,
day.
yes, they are robotic in nature. They are so robotic because this is not a person. This is not a real person, right? So,
But
basically,
sometimes women demand that.
yes, we do. We do. And they know that. I mean, these guys are smart. They know what they're doing. They're smart. They don't sleep for, let's say, the first 3 months. At 6, I must receive a text from this person, right? And they will even let you know what they're getting up to during the day, and just over communication, you know? It will constantly be like this. In a way, they also monopolize your time. And when you are free, they are there in your space.
Yeah.
When you are apart, they're texting you the whole time. So because they don't have anything going on within themselves, like I said, you become their main focus. Because they have nothing going on for themselves.
Because
So one day they're going to drop the ball, and you are going to go crazy.
So it's a thin line for sure, because women love attention.
They
right?
love attention, and they know it. The guys, the narcissists know it.
Then you feel like I finally found a guy that, you know,
gives me the time.
The time and the attention that I so crave for.
He's sweet, he's what, you
He's
know, all those
amazing.
things.
He's ticking all the boxes.
So,
right.
so what? In a way, is it also good to have a guy that will forget sometimes?
I love it. I love it when it happens. In fact, I don't like it when a person starts to do that, because it starts to. I start to now have this sense of like
a trigger, maybe
expectation to say, okay, if he does this without fail, on the day that he doesn't, obviously I'm gonna question it. Yes.
So okay, I'd like to switch it for a little bit and ask. So if a man is in a relationship with a needy girlfriend.
Yes.
Who either wants to always spend time with me, or she always wants to talk to me. Does that mean she might be narcissistic?
I wouldn't necessarily agree.
Okay.
Because as women, we happen to be very emotional. Right? And also it some of that also might be coming from a place, maybe an unhealthy place, where maybe she's not,
like insecurity.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like insecurity.
So it's a red
and
flag.
She's covering issues. It could be.
It could be.
Yes. It's safe to see it as a red flag, because as a person, one thing I've learned, you know, from dealing with narcissistic people is that as a person, be willing to be okay, you know, with yourself. You understand? Be willing to have something from within, like have something going on for yourself, and not expect it from the next person. Love yourself, you know, and be able to validate yourself so that you're not at the mercy of the next person. And when they do it, it's a bonus. You know, you get to celebrate it, but it's not like a life and death matter. You understand?
I
not
agree with
healthy.
that, because you'd find I do have a friend.
Yes.
Who was very, you know, him and his wife were like,
quite clingy.
You know, like everywhere, anything they'll do together.
Yes.
And when she passed,
oh gosh, you fall apart.
He did not know how to function by himself.
You fall apart.
Right?
You fall apart.
He just broke down.
Shame.
And so I feel that's very important, to just still have that individualism.
Yes, 100.
Like, let's babe,
A healthy balance
Yeah.
Right.
of just
hang out with your
Yes.
friends, let me hang out
doing
with my
things, or
friends.
even a project.
Yeah,
Even a
just-
project, I create projects
Yeah.
sometimes. You will find me packing socks, rearranging
Right.
socks at home, and I'm busy. You understand?
Yeah.
Wow, that's very
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So naturally, I mean, we obviously need to hear how you like found yourself out of these situations, because
Yes.
I've had friends, female friends, who've
Yes.
sort of been in a situation where they start sharing, and you start realizing, whoa, this relationship sounds very abusive.
Toxic,
Yeah,
yes.
it sounds very toxic.
Because you're now picking
And
up
I've had
the
so I've had
Yeah.
a guy who I think could be narcissistic.
Yes.
He was very controlling, but I mean
Yeah.
the main thing that stood out was actually the physical abuse.
Sure.
So we stopped being friends after this
Yeah.
entire episode. Yeah, like I used to run events.
Yeah.
I still do.
Sure. That's amazing.
But not as much as I used to. But yeah, at one of my events, he came through.
Yes.
And I think he was one of our sponsors. So he's like in the corporate spaces, he runs a business. And he, I think maybe he was tipsy or drunk or whatever.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
speaks to another girl and he's getting a number. So he's kind of getting fresh with some girl, but he's married, you know?
Gosh. Was
And
the
then
wife
his
there at the
yeah,
event?
the wife is there. So the wife goes, yo, what's going on there?
Yeah.
What's, you know,
Yeah.
naturally. right?
Naturally.
And I mean, you're drunk, you're tipsy. The first thing you should do is just say, yo, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, and apologize. Then
Yes.
it kind of, yes,
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100.
But he just lost it and then he smacked her.
No.
Yeah, and
public,
then he
like,
smacked her. And then so the security guys who I working for us with the event, they called me. They're like, boss, we're gonna beat up your friend
Shame.
because he's literally not. There's no remorse.
Shame.
He wants to hit her, and we can't let this happen. Like we can't, you know. I couldn't believe it, you know. But it's almost like a switch.
Yeah.
And there's this side of him that I'm just like, yo, bro, what's
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
And then, you know, long story short, after the entire tumultuous time,
Oh, well.
eventually, you know, she struggled to leave.
Yes.
She
you
struggled
will.
to leave because his business was doing pretty decently.
Yes.
So, and they had a kid.
Financial.
Yeah.
Yes,
So she
Financial,
doesn't have a
the
job.
self-worth,
She doesn't
the
have a thing.
reliance.
Yeah. The job she has is kind of controlled by him.
100.
Yeah. So she couldn't, like, you could speak to her, but you could
Yes.
see that there's a,
Yes.
she
100.
feels like she's caged and she's not
100.
trying to.
100.
And you know what?
100.
What you've just talked about is
Yes.
usually the common examples used when feminists talk about equality.
Equality.
Right.
Because
what
they
sense?
talk about reliance, too much reliance on the man.
Gives him too much power.
okay.
Too much power
Yeah.
in terms of I'm the one that's
So-
working.
Yes.
So could you say feminism is kind of like a result of
It's
narcissism?
Well,
Because, I
there
mean,
is a
it's like
possibility.
it's almost an inverse relationship where
Yes.
the problem with this is the result of that.
Of that.
So it's like
Right, you
women want to
understand?
have power because they
Yes.
don't want to be,
Yes.
you know, a slave
Like,
to somebody
yeah.
You
who's
know?
paying for everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the younger women, yeah,
Yes.
sorry, yeah,
No, go ahead.
we obviously learn from the older women, you know, and they talk to us. You understand? I remember my mom celebrated it when basically I found work, and she says to me, "This is going to somehow protect you from abuse." You know, and they encourage us to have something going on for ourselves.
Yeah.
And to a point where even if you are married and it's your husband's joy to
Just have
take
your
care of
own
you,
thing.
have something going on for yourself. Because I think we can assume that obviously back in the days the traditional roles were more defined in the sense that our moms stay home, our fathers hustle and bring
work,
the money
yeah,
home.
yeah.
And there was a lot of abuse there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of abuse there, even though I don't think it was the intention of the system to basically, I guess, create the abuse and everything, because it flows naturally. I want to take care of the kids. I mean, even as little girls, like a 10-year-old, if you bring a baby, they will be all over the baby, taking care of the baby. So it just comes naturally for us to want to stay home and tidy up the house and take care of him and nurture, him and the kids. right? And now I feel like, I guess they started to abuse the power. I think it's tempting. It's only human that when you have all this power in your hands to want to abuse it. Although I don't believe that it's every man who actually ends up abusing their wife if they are depending on them.
So what was the journey like for you to sort of find your way out?
Out of the narcissistic relationship.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't even judge that lady for staying, right? And I feel like a lot of people never really approach the victims with the compassion they need, because when you are in that relationship, like I said, initially they want to make you believe that you cannot make it without them, and they're very skilled and smart and very strategic, at that, and you will get to that place where they are your God, you understand? And therefore, how do you then leave the person that has done everything for you? Because like I said, initially they want to solve all your problems. Literally just about all your problems.
So that becomes the basis of why you need them.
Why you need them. Yes. Therefore, even when the abuse starts to happen, you will stay and you will give yourself reasons. And they gaslight a lot as well. So they will tell you it's all in your head. And also they have this thing of also raising people around them that actually do the dirty work for them. The psychological term for that is flying monkeys, in the sense that they will have friends or even just people or acquaintances that believe the best about the narcissist, right?
So they always come and say,
you crazy.
No, you need to.
The problem is you understand?
You're not grateful.
This man loves you. Yes. I mean, he did 1, 2, and 3 for you.
Yeah.
And it's legit. I mean, he has done all those things for you.
From the outside.
From the outside, it's insane. You can't complain. I mean, he's loved you. So for me, it was also difficult to leave. I tried a couple of times. I tried to end the relationship, and literally a day would be too much for me. Like just being without him, because I also did everything together with him. We cooked together. We ate from the same plate, like literally speaking.
Wow.
We did. And therefore, how do I then show up, without him suddenly? Minus the abuse, you understand? So I would then give myself reasons to stay, I would give myself reasons to stay. But how I left, somehow it was so miraculous. I feel like it was orchestrated by God, and I will really, really forever be grateful, because I wasn't planning on leaving. Also, there was that element of me of like trying to love him back to, I guess, his sanity, because he was never loved. Remember we spoke about lack of parenting. Some of them were never parented and they had to fend for themselves. So they have this anger and hatred towards maybe men or towards women, you understand, because of how their moms rejected them and whatnot. So he was rejected by his mom, and I wanted to just love him, you understand? He had never been loved. And therefore I wanted to stay and be like, you know what? He's abusing me, yes, but we're getting somewhere, Love conquers all. And another reason I stayed is because I was dependent on him. I mean, he had my passwords for everything. He had created all my accounts, LinkedIn, everything. He was teaching me everything. Everything I feel like I can do now, I can always point it back to him to say he really, really taught me a lot in life. Because like I said, I came from little or nothing, so I couldn't even speak English. He taught me, you understand? And how I left, though, is so miraculous, in the sense that he threw me out. And it was like in the middle of the night. The situation was quite ugly. I ended up staying at the police station for a couple of days. And yes, it was that ugly.
Why were you, if you don't mind, why were you?
He was sexually abusing me. It had gotten to that point where I was now not sexually attracted to him anymore because of that. I mean, I'm seeing all these red flags and I'm like, who is this a monster? You understand? Because of how he would switch. One moment he's losing control over his emotions. 1 minute he's hitting me. 1 minute, you understand? So I grew to hate him. But I was staying still. I was hopeful that things will get better. And here's the thing, with a narcissistic relationship is that when you actually get there, when they start abusing you, you always look back on the good times. You understand?
Just to
there was some good there. Yes, there was some good there. Yes. So basically, he was trying to sexually assault me, and I was screaming. And because obviously there's other people who were in a communal environment, and obviously other people were going to intervene, and it was going to look bad for him. So he then just threw me out, and that's how I left the relationship. You would think I didn't go back.
Yeah.
A couple of times, I did. I dropped the charges. I mean, a lot happened. But eventually, I think one lady, that's why I love God so much, right? I feel like he was always there in the story. Even if it was messy, it was ugly, he was always there. And one lady who is a lover of the Lord at university, she looks at me when I was telling her, she was asking, what happened to, because everyone knew about it. Okay. What happened to that guy? You understand? Are you still with him? And I was like, I just got back together with him. He's changed. He's promising to change. He's going for counseling. And she just looked at me and she just, like, she, I don't know how to say it, but she wasn't kind with me.
Right.
She said to me, you have a purpose and you have a child in case somebody needs to remind you.
Yeah.
A child that you are raising on your own and you cannot throw away your life like this. This man is going to kill you. And for me, that was
the wake up moment.
Yes. Yes. That's how I left the relationship.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot.
And thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's definitely going to help someone.
That sounds a lot, yeah.
Definitely going to help someone.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because